Jester. We have username. For this debate, Return of the Jester is holding the position that it doesn't matter what you say, but how you say it. Username is taking the opposition. As always, when we base upon who concedes, we don't get a vocal concession from either participant. We'll put it to a voting poll in which you, the audience, can decide on who you think performed better overall in the debate. No time limit, light moderation. Thank you both for debating. You can get started.
Username, do you want to go for the opening statement, or should I go for it?
I believe you should go for it because the statement is a very, very brave statement to defend, probably one of the hardest. So go on.
All right. So I believe firmly that it doesn't matter what you say, but how you say it, because whenever you're talking to someone, whether you don't realize it or you do realize it, what you're looking at probably one of the most, or some of the most, is their tone. Because tone is so important in the meaning, especially online, because online you can't see body language. So you have to go by what you have, and what you have usually is tone and just general what they're saying. If someone is hyper aggressive in their tone, even if they're trying to be friendly, you will take it the other way. Someone could be like, "Hey, I really like you. You're a really cool guy." But if they're saying it in a way which sounds as if it's supposed to be mocking or threatening, you're going to take it in that way rather than going by what they actually said.
All right. So first, I would like you to, when you say tone, that being connected with your statement, it's not necessarily connected, but rather tone. When you have a statement that it doesn't matter what you say, but how you say it, tone is actually connected to what you say. Also, what you said about how, for example, you said you're a cool guy, I really like you. In certain tone, that can sound good, but if you say it in other tone, it can sound bad. And I want you to explain me how the sentence "you are cool, I like you" can be like interpreted as bad, because I don't think it can be seen or heard as bad at all, because it's a genuinely good thing to say to someone, even if you try to be like yeah, you're really cool, I like you. Even that way it sounds weird, but it still sounds good. So it's a genuinely good thing to say, objectively nice thing to say to someone, which can't be like interpreted as a bad thing or ironic a bit, because no one ironically says you're cool, I like you, I think you're a good guy. No one does that. So it's a bad example to be given for this statement.
All right. So let's give a okay. So to explain that, how that would be able to show it, it's like if let's use the way you said it. You said it in a pretty, normal tone, or you could say it in a really excited, like, "Hey, I really like you. You're a great guy," or "I really like you. You're a good person." It's completely different, or you get a completely different feeling. Whereas someone said, "Yeah, I really like you. You're a good person." There's a Even if you won't take it directly, like super negatively, you won't have nearly as good of an impression, because whenever you say something, usually past what you say in words, you mean in tone. So even if you say, "Oh, this game is so bad," you could be saying it just out of anger, and that's shown in your tone. But, if you were just said it in a completely expressionless manner or something like that, people would think you're actually saying that you think the game is bad. So, yes.
Okay, so you forgot the subjective feeling of the person you're talking to about tone. For example, you maybe talk to a person, and you say in a cheerful manner, "Wow, you're so cool. I like you. You're a really nice person." And maybe that person will actually think, "Huh, this guy is like, how much does he know me? 5, 10 minutes, and he already knows in that kind of cheerful manner that I'm a good person. What a actual hypocrite, or what a actual, I don't know, childish behavior from him." But if like you say it calmly, or for example at the end of the evening when you spend like certain amount of time with a person, or I don't know, even early on, did you say, "Hey, bro, I think you're cool. I like you," and he will be like, "Well, yes, he's actually nice. I mean, he told it in a normal manner. Maybe he just thinks I'm a nice guy. Nothing like too like extraordinary or like hyper big, like saying, "Oh, I think you are beautiful. I think you are really cool and stuff." I believe that's like hyperbola of saying that. So tone can be an important part of conversation, but for sometimes it actually does not mean to a person you're talking to. Of course, some tones can be more popular, some can be less popular. For example, if you're talking with a optimistic person, he will probably like, or she will like, for you to talk him in a cheerful manner to celebrate the goodness of conversation that is connected to the goodness of the life and the optimist behavior and manners. But when you talk to a person that's more, I would say, realistic or pessimist, he would or she would probably like a normal or even some like uh, uh, backwards, if I can say it like that, negative tone of like the typical normality, or maybe the like experienced person who talks like, I don't know, like a war veteran, for example, that when you see it in the movies, in the when the main character is having a monologue with himself, or going to bars, smoking cigarette and drinking beer and talking with the guys who serves him. I forgot how it's called in English. I'm sorry. With a waiter, he's talking with a waiter, and he's talking him his life story in that the like half depressed manner, like he talks the bad experiences he has. So yeah, some people prefer optimist way of saying something, or cheerful way, and some actually prefer the normal, or maybe even like the the realistically negative way of talking, or experienced way of talking. So that's it.
Okay, you talk about how I didn't account for subjective feelings. Well, your tone has a major effect on your subjective feelings, and that's a fact. Also, from prior experience has a major effect too. Um, an example of this, like I'm giving a lot of examples because it's relatively easy to give examples of how effective and how important tone is, more so than your words, I would argue. Um, if a woman just over online, so of course body language and such isn't accounted into it. If a woman with a really nice voice recommends, a product or recommends a service, even if you aren't interested in it, you're more likely to give a lot more thought into it because, just a lot more persuasive with how nice their voice is. Now, let's say another woman, with a voice that sounds like a 30-year-old smoker and just the worst voice you could possibly imagine, right? If she recommended it to you, then you would probably just not even want to let her finish her sentence. You would maybe out of kindness, but you wouldn't really pay attention to what she's saying. You'd be trying to get out of that situation because if you don't like someone's tone, you're not going to pay nearly as much attention to anything that they're saying. And and not only that, past experiences can play a major part in it too. If you've had an experience where most people who are talking to you in a certain way or a certain tone are vastly negative, like let's say you grew up in a place where pretty much every time someone was talking nice to you, they wanted something out of you. Or every time someone was talking in a nice tone, they wanted something out of you. You would associate nice tone with people wanting to use you. So tone is very important past words.
I mean, yes, exact. I mean, tone is definitely important for the topic you just mentioned, which is the marketing and marketing economy. Yes, it's important, but also it varies between the period, like the time of markets. For example, you had the period, especially during like 1960s, 1970s, where the most popular radio voices were mostly like middle-aged black guys, because they have that stereotypic deep voice that they can say things with, which is very popular even today's, especially the people who like it, like also jazz. But that's another subject. What I wanted to say is that the fact, which is that tone is important, which is definitely a fact, does not connect to your argument that it does not matter what you say, because you can say something very bad in a cheerful tone and people will see it as a bad thing. So if I say, okay, for example, some stupid thing like Hitler was a good person, I can say it in bad term, Hitler was a good person, and I can say, wow, Hitler was a good person. In both tones, it sounds bad. So it actually means what you say. Tone plays a role, but it does not. It is not an argument for statement that it does matter what you say, but how you say it.
But using your example of Hitler, okay, someone's more likely to hear you out based on your tone. Even if it is horrendous sentence like that, people are more likely to hear you out based on your tone. So, although, yes, they may pay attention to the words and they're going to be like, wow, those are really messed up. But depending on your tone, changes how they think of the words and what the words mean to them. If I say, wow, Hitler was such a great guy, I truly love when he killed those children, people would think of that as a joke. That would sound like a joke if there was a context followed up behind it, you know? And then people would be more likely. And also, if you said it in a maybe more somber type of tone, or like a more sad type of tone, but still said the exact same sense, well, Hitler was a good guy, then people are more likely to hear you out. They're going to say you're wrong and stuff, don't get me wrong, but they're probably going to hear you out because you said it in a calm, somewhat sad manner, which makes them think, hey, he kind of understands the bad part of Hitler. So even though the words are bad, how they saw the words was directly affected by the tone.
Yes, but I believe that even if you cheerfully, ironically joke about Hitler, I believe most of people, especially in today's society, will not find Nazi jokes so amusing. And the people who genuinely make Nazi jokes are either ironic racists or actual racists. But uh, let's forget that actually, and giving you an example of how, for example, tone or how you say something is actually does not matter at all, and it's a pretty common example that we can see in everyday society. We have a breakup, and a boy tells the girl, he can tell her in two ways. He can tell in one way, he's just gonna say, okay, I do not love you more, I found a new one, I don't want to see you again, we are breaking up, that's the end. And he's going to hurt her, right? But if we say it other in the other way, like it's not you, it's me. My feelings were lost in the deep shadow of uh, of love that is not allowed, of that sweet, comprehensive love for the girl I met. I just can't deny it. I can't run away from it, and I do not want to hurt you. So I have to leave you, and that fact that I left you, that that cruel reality will forever haunt me, and completely destroy my heart, eating it one bit by bit. But I already lost my heart to the girl I already love, that I found myself in, and that's that sweet sinful love that I found outside of our relationship. So that sounds very nice and sugar and spice, but you are still going to hurt that girl. She's just going to think a little bit different, but in the end, she's also going to think, okay, like stop shitting around. You are leaving me. You left me, and maybe even she's going to see through your mask of how do you want to present the reality, even though the reality is pretty obvious. You're leaving me. You were cheating me, and yes, you're a cruel person generally, no matter how you say it. And actually, maybe the first like the ordinary thing. I'm leaving you. I don't love you anymore. I don't. We should not see each other anymore. Is actually maybe even better to say than actually spicing things up and masking it, like in front of reality that is very obvious, and the consequences of that act, which is in this situation cheating, is going to hurt the girl, whatever you say or however you say it.
All right, let's rewind to your whole entire speech or the breakup dialogue you just wrote, right? That the second one you wrote obviously seemed more, yeah, the second dialogue you wrote obviously it seemed more sad and stuff. But if you said that in the most cheery, happy-go-lucky voice you can, she's gonna be like she's gonna think that you didn't mean your words and that you're just antagonizing her or that you're just saying something to get her off your back, which would definitely be cruel, and that would be even more so cruel than just saying it flat out, like, I don't love you anymore, you need to go our separate ways. Yes, that is cruel and all, that's bad, don't get me wrong, but at the same time, if you said that in a sad tone, I'm sorry, but you gotta go. We gotta break up. That would be completely different than if you said that whole entire paragraph you just said. Sorry, I can't say it word for word, but the whole entire paragraph you just said second time in a happy, cheery voice, saying, "I'm sorry that I cheated on you, but I really, really, really liked her more than you. I'm sorry, but we gotta break up. We gotta break up, right?" So that would be completely different based on the tone and just the general ways saying it, even if the words sound better, even if the words are different and better, if you say it in such a way, it's not going to sound good, it's not going to sound better, it's going to sound worse.
I mean, yes. So it's still does not prove point that what we say does not matter. The example you just give, saying the breakup in a cheerful voice, is true. What you say after that, that it can actually hurt person even more if they see that you're joking and then they realize that it's actually a reality. So I'm not seeing the exact point here you're trying to make, because the consequential ending of the reality that she's cheated or he's cheated is going to have same consequence and same end, however you say it. So yeah.
Yeah, but that's the actions. We're talking about just the words. In terms of just the words, like I said, in your example, the tone of how you said it was more important than exactly what you said. Because even even going from two separate spectrums of just being blunt and saying, I don't want to date you, or being blunt and saying, I don't love you anymore, we gotta break up, to the other spectrum, which is writing, this whole entire paragraph describing why you had to leave her, right? Even those two completely broad sides of the spectrum, if the tone doesn't match what it's trying to convey, then it doesn't matter what you said. It's not gonna come out good. It's not gonna come out how you want it to. which is why the tone is more important than the words, because the tone determines the meaning of the words and how you say them.
I mean, yes, but words can be action in a form of commandment. So if your words are commandment, they are action and then can lead to action or even bigger action in the case.
Of course, they can lead to action, but that's not to say tone can't lead to action either. Hey, go show this guy a visit. If you say it in a certain way or a certain tone, as if you have ulterior motives, as if you're trying to do something shady to him, then people are gonna take that as, oh yeah, he's totally not just going to go actually pay this guy a visit. Whereas if you're like, hey, let's go pay this guy a visit, then people totally aren't gonna think you're there to do anything shady or break his kneecaps or anything of the such. And that's a key difference in anything. Okay. The first thing when you talk to a person, whenever they say something, the first thing you're going to think about is how they said it. Because how they said it is so vital to the meaning. You're going to think more about how they said it than what they said.
Yes, but as I said, it's completely subjective from a person to person. Maybe if you say, okay, let's give this guy a visit, someone will think, wow, that's reminding me of a movie where the boss says to his agents that to go to kill that guy. That's actually pretty interesting, pretty funny. And so we'll find it like a normal thing. Someone say, if you say, uh, "Oh, let's go to his house, visit him." That will maybe from some people that will be too cheerful, or just would mean like you want to go and fuck him or something like that. Especially if you're a woman, yeah. If you're a woman, that would, in 90% of times, mean that you're going to have some sorts of sexual intercourse for lots of people. But it completely depends from person to person. It's so subjective. Some people maybe like in I don't know, in Africa, do not like to hear the voice of white man, or see a white man being cheerful on television, because there are no white people that much in Africa, and they want to see their own people advertising their own things. So yeah, it does mean, actually it really means what you say. It does too mean, I mean, it also means how you say it. So in this, the statement would be that you're trying to make is it does matter what you say, but it also matters how you say it, would be a complete fact. But the statement about how it doesn't matter what you say is just objectively not okay, because it's not true. Let's give another example, an example of you as a student coming to school. You're getting into class and you're lating, okay, and you said to your teacher, okay, I'm sorry because I'm late. I'm sorry because I'm late. And he's going to be mad about it. You are late. And if you come into class and say, "Oh, teacher, I'm so sorry because I'm late," he's going to see it more positively. But it also depends from a person to person. If a teacher is, I don't know, a young teacher that just came into school, he wouldn't care that much and will actually see it more positively and will be more forgiving. But if you have a old pretty boomer guy with hardcore moral values and standards, he would just, who is actually soulless, he would, in whatever case you come, either cheerful or sad or whatever, he's just gonna, he will not care, because your action of not coming to class is bad, and yeah, that's it.
All right, going back to what you said about sex. Let's assume, all right, you're talking to a girl. She is awesome. You're trying to bang, and I quote you not. You are trying to smash like it's Tokyo. Okay, you're just getting there, right? Now, when this is a prime example, in most girls, you have to pay more attention to how they say something than to what they say. I was talking to a girl not too long ago, and she was like, "There's a whole entire thing called girl talk, where we'll say something some way or say something, and it won't mean what it actually means. We just like it depends on how you say it. You know, like every girl you talk to, not every girl, but with most girls, they are weird. They don't make sense sometimes. You have to go by how they say something. You know, prime example. Apparently, I asked one of the girls I'm friends with this, but a no and a heart at the end is like a nice way of saying no. It doesn't really make sense because just saying no in and of itself is, well, not necessarily mean, depends on the context, but it has kind of bad connotation. And so adding a heart to it doesn't, it helps a lot because the meaning completely changes and it completely changes the tone of that message.
Yeah, but as I want to say, you said most of girls, which already implies that the rule of that you're saying that it doesn't matter what you say but how you say it does not imply objectively, and is not an objective thing, but rather either for most of people or for some people. So it's not an actual or factual thing. It's actually completely subjective. So yeah.
No, I said most of people because the other minority or the other part of people, I'm not gonna say the minority or majority because honestly, I haven't got enough large enough sample group to know that. But like some, some, um, some are more frank, so they will say something and they will mean it, right? And they will mean what they say. And even then, you still have to look at what still have to look at the tone where they said something. Because if they said something and it's a joke, like, because even the most like frank of people, even the most blunt of people will make jokes. And with those type of people, it's especially important to have the tone because their tone is how you tell if they're joking or not. Because every time they're not joking, they probably mean whatever they say. But the tone is important in determining whether they're joking. So even at the basis, you have to get the tone for every person to decide why they're saying something, what they mean by something, which makes the words not completely irrelevant, but pretty much or almost completely irrelevant to the actual point.
Okay, so you're given an example of you talking to girls that you want to have. So can you explain me how actually words are irrelevant? Because if you genuinely say bad things to girl in whatever tone or manner, they can see it as negative, especially if you're offending them or saying slurs. It's just they're just gonna think it's bad, especially if you're talking to a black girl and, for example, call her an N-word. That's maybe like most basic example. If you call someone a slur, they will find it offensive 99% of time, and they'll probably go what in whatever manner you say it. It's just objectively a bad thing to say, and objectively bad things to say lead to conclusion that words actually matter.
Okay, so you said most girls would consider that being called an N-word, regardless of tone, would be bad, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, well, the thing about that is actually, I'm pretty sure, right? that it depends on the tone a lot, because inside friend groups, and yeah, especially inside friend groups, people call each other the anything under the sky. They will call each other sluts, whores, anything they care, because they are friends and they understand there's nothing behind it. Because the tone behind it is different when it's coming from a friend and when it's coming from some random dude on the street. Some random dude on the street walks up and calls me an N-word. Well, I'm not going to take too kindly to that, even if he is saying it in a joking manner, because I can tell by his tone that he's joking or not, right? But if my friend says it and I can tell by his tone that he's joking, then it's completely different. And a prime example of this, and I mean prime example of this, I was talking to this person, right? She got
Yo, don't do
angry at
that.
me. She got angry at me because I said the N-word. All right. I am black, by the way, so don't add me on this. But I said the N-word. She got angry at me, right? Afterwards, afterwards, she called her friend, and I quote, a burnt porch monkey, which is much much worse than the N-word. And I mean by a standard of degree, it goes from 1 to 10. Burnt porch monkey's probably hella close to 10. So that, regardless of tone, should be bad, right? Oh, well, no. She's actually friends with that person, and that person could tell by the tone. Oh, she was joking. Oh, it's fine. Oh, hey, I'm not going to get offended over this. Boom. Nobody's offended. Life's great. Even though what she said is offensive, the tone behind it wasn't.
I mean, yes, but you shifted from it doesn't matter what you say, it matters how you say it, to it doesn't matter what you say, it matters who says it, which are two different statements.
Not exactly. I just used it. I just said as an example that different people saying have different effects. But even then, that still goes down to the wire, because your tone still decides things. Even if you're in a friendship, someone calling you the N-word isn't gonna be good. Even if you're in a friendship, someone calling you the N-word in just a spiteful not spiteful context, but in a spiteful tone, saying, "Oh, you're such an N-word," or just something like that, that's not gonna be good. Even if they're your friend or a stranger on the street. But based on the tone, you can tell it's a joke, which then allows you to be more lenient. Just because they're your friend. So the tone matters whether you're talking to your friends, whether you're talking to a stranger. No matter who you're talking to, your tone matters definitely.
Uh, yes, but you just contradicted yourself. You did say that N-word is objectively bad, which automatically kind of denies your statement. And as I say, you're going from the statement that words do not matter, but it matters how you say it, to a statement that words do not matter, but it matters who says it. Which statement is partially true, because, for example, when we are talking about slurs in black ghettos and where like minorities are majority, they call themselves N-word all the time because they do not find it offensive, because they are not called by I don't know, white racists, but rather by local people. So yeah, I mean the statement of that the words uh, do not matter, but it matters how you say it, is not same as the statement the words does not matter, but it matters who says it, which is that second statement is partially true and is in some cases completely true in the case, for example, that I've just given.
Yeah, but I was making a point that I actually said that regardless whether it's friend or stranger, regardless of anyone, I said that just to show that, like, tone, even between friends, which are known to change the social dynamic completely. When it comes to talking to a friend, when it comes to talking to a random person, social dynamic changes completely. Even in that complete change, does the tone still matter? Is the point I was getting at. during my last time talking.
Yes, but from empirical evidence, that cannot be just true, because if from when we see the experience of ourselves of the most people, we can actually see that it's a lack of argument here that you're trying to do. The when we have a we are going to job, okay, and we have an interview for job, and you go to job and you are saying, I don't know, some random words. He's asking you, what's your blah blah blah, what's your, where did you go to school, are you hard worker, and other stuff, and you are saying, I don't know, some random words, monkey, banana, unicorn, I don't know, LeBron James is gonna just look at you weird and gonna kick you out because he exactly asked you a certain question and he wants a certain answer that's directly connected to that question. So you cannot say any other stuff, and it doesn't matter how you say it because you are going against the rules he set in for conversation, and the rules he set for conversation are the exact answers he wants to an exact question.
All right, yeah, but all right, but um, the I'm saying okay. So using your example, of just saying LeBron James, pony, unicorn, whatever, right? That didn't make any sense. Clearly, you didn't get apart half what you're saying, you know. But if someone said that in just the most joking, random, like cheery tone, you would laugh because you wouldn't register that as an actual, sentence supposed to mean anything. You would dismiss that and you would go on and say, okay, cool, but how do you answer my question? What does that have to do with my question? You know? Because it didn't matter, because they're probably going to gloss over it. They don't really care what you said. It was just more of like just how random it was in that situation, the tone you're using behind it to tell that it was a joke, it wasn't meant to mean anything.
Oh, okay. So if you want to join, I don't know, FBI, and the agent is asking you questions, and you are saying random stuff that are completely unconnected, you think that he's going to find them funny, especially FBI, which is like a really funny organization, right? Or he's going to kick you out and forbid you from coming ever again.
I mean, he's probably going to think what's wrong with you, but at the same time, in most circumstances, a person can more of accept a joke because a joke is amazing at breaking tension. And being in a high stress, high tension situation is not fun. Nobody enjoys that. Or, not that nobody enjoys that. I'm sure there are people, but it's likely the minority of people that enjoy being in intense, high stress situations. So I'd argue that he probably accept the joke, but make sure to get you back on track so that way he could do what he needed you to do, even if he is FBI, because the FBI are still humans at the end of the day.
Yes, but what if he didn't like the joke? What if the joke was stupid and immature and just you know? So if you say a good joke, that will prove that words actually matter, and he will actually think it's a joke. But if you say a good joke, but if you say a bad joke, maybe he's not gonna laugh at all, and he's just gonna think it's a bad joke. So words actually matter. Even if you say the bad joke in bad manner, he is going to find it immature or stupid. It depends from a person, but
Actually, this has been stated by many comedians, and I mean many comedians, but a lot of them believe that in a joke, two of the most important things, like just almost more so than what you're actually saying, is the presentation, and their presentation and the pacing. Because I could say the funniest thing in the world, and I don't know what would be an example of funny sense, because no sense isn't funny by itself. It's how you say it. It's the delivery behind it. I could say, "Oh well, Hitler is cool, dude." That's not funny by itself. But if I said it in a context, just like in a context with a certain connotation, like, well, Hitler, he wasn't really that bad of a guy, then that's completely different. It's funny now because of the tone and everything else behind it, not the actual words themselves. Literally, I could go on stage and say LeBron James stupid. That's it, and I would get laughs. A perfect example is that one time Sky Jackson was canceling children over guacamole inner penis. It was hilarious because obviously that wasn't really a funny sentence. It's not funny to say guacamole inner penis, right? It's not funny by itself. But now that the tone of it is supposed to be joking and behind it is just Sky Jackson trying to cancel people, now it's funny.
So Michael Jackson said that, right?
Michael Jackson didn't say that, but it was Sky Jack. No, it was some random kid online, and then Sky Jackson tried to cancel them. But when it comes to comedians, I'm not sure which comedian said it, but I know a lot of comedians agree that those are the foundations of a joke.
Okay, so you told me that, like, in comedy, it can actually. So what if the comedian is not like super known star that already has a history of good jokes that are not completely immature, but is actually a new star that no, pardon me, a new comedian that has to prove himself on scene. He's not gonna come out and say some stupid random joke. He's gonna try his best to say the best joke that he knows, so it can give him a path to glory in comedy.
Best joke he knows, all right? He goes in there and he tries to say the best joke he knows, just walks up there. Hey guys, how's it going? Well, this happened. That's not necessarily funny by itself. Because a great comedian, they present their stuff in a certain way. It has to flow together. It has to be smooth. Like So even if it's the funniest sentence in the goddamn world, if he just says it in a bland tone, just with little to no good delivery, it's not gonna work out well.
So I would like to take your statement now, and we imagine the scene where comedian goes and says, "Hello guys, what's up? This happened, blah blah blah." So I just want to take the same comedian, go to the stage, and saying one word, "this," just this. And do you think that in that scene it will be very funny? Are you here? Maybe my connection broke out. Can you hear me, Jester?
You're audible. I think Jester maybe cut out.
Yeah, let's wait.
Sorry about that. Um, can you repeat the last vital parts of your argument? I had to use the bathroom.
Let's imagine the scene you just said. The comedian goes to stage and says, "Hello guys, what's up? How are you doing? This happened, blah blah blah." Well, if he does the same thing but without saying anything other than this, he just says this. Would you find it funny on the global level for all of them to laugh? just at one random word, completely unconnected? Or would they just see him and look strange way and tell him to get the fuck off stage?
The thing about that is, I feel like I would laugh at that because, you know, if he says it in just a funny tone, he says this, and then nothing happens, or just something like that, it would actually be pretty funny because you get this guy's coming up to stage, you expect him to do something great, and then he just says this in like the most boring plain accent ever. I would laugh for a second, and then I expect him to do more, but naturally, I would laugh at that because it's just so unexpected and fun.
Well, actually,
Funny.
yeah, sure. Actually, thinking about that, maybe I will laugh too. But I think, to be a real, that most of people just won't laugh because they paid there to go and watch some good comedy and not watch some dumb people like me and you laughing at some random words. But let's give you an example of maybe one also the best examples I can right now think of is seminar work in a university where you defend the seminar work you made for your class, and that's a big deal, especially on the universities. A lot of people come to see that. The professor is actually asking you a question and you have to answer them. Of course, you cannot answer them random questions or not, or say some stupid things, because it really matters what are you going to say, because you are defending your seminar work, which is the key part of your whole studies. So yeah, in this case, words absolutely matter, and what you say absolutely matters, and you cannot say random stuff. So yeah, words absolutely matter. It can matter how you say it, but words absolutely matter in this case. And I can't really find any evidence for words.
But
Uh,
going
do,
back to what you said about the lecture thing and how you can't make a whole entire random thesis of random words, right? You can though make a whole entire, well, you might not get a good grade for it, but you possibly could make a whole entire argument, a whole entire, you know, thesis on with sarcasm. Just using sarcasm as a literary device, or using sarcasm as a device, you could forge a whole entire argument. It's happened in videos before. You say, "Oh well, no, he totally could not possibly have done this," and here's some proof why he couldn't, and then give nonsensical proof that doesn't prove anything. It doesn't make sense for you to be arguing for the opposite of your point, right? But with the tone and with the tone of it, being a sarcastic tone, you're gonna understand. Oh, hey, he's being sarcastic about it. You could totally do that just based on tone alone. You can turn something that was not plausible at all, because the words don't really make sense. But you could take something that was not plausible at all and make it completely plausible.
exactly, but you said in sarcastic way, and sarcasm is not only a tone, but the sarcasm is actually has to be built on either joke, on a way of speech that suits the sarcasm. Not everything can be said in sarcastic way. And also the if I just gave you random words completely unconnected and I'm in front of you while you are answering to the question of professor, you just cannot make it so, and you can't make it sarcastic because they're random, unconnected, and just cannot be said in a sarcastic way. You're gonna fail, no matter if you, however you want to say it. You're gonna fail because you're talking nonsense that are not connected to reality.
Just to get this clear, are we talking about in writing or just out of the mouth?
I'm talking about the defense of seminal work, which is a professor asking you questions about your own seminal work and about the details of it, and you have to defend it and know it completely. So you have to know your seminal work, which is made of certain serious topic that was given to you by a professor. So yeah, how are you going to defend it with random, unconnected words without meaning?
Answer to that is you don't defend it. Because you can take a fail for an assignment. That you can take a fail for an assignment, but I understand where you're getting at about how words would definitely matter in that situation. But no matter, let's say you did make it completely safe and sound completely, everything sounds great, right? Everything is great, right? Now, if you just say it in a super bored, uninteresting tone, like you don't care, yes, your point may get across. But since the thing you're aiming for is your grade, the teacher might be like, oh, well, he didn't care. He wasn't interested. He wasn't engaged. He was just saying things. Then, boom, your grade gets knocked down a bunch. Even if he gets your meaning, then he's not going to really care. Or, well, even if he gets your meaning, he's not going to care so much about the meaning. So it'll make sense, of course. But if he doesn't feel like he was acknowledged, then he could very much so, just give it up, the meeting, or
So
give up the grade.
oh, okay. So American argument that if person does not care about the tone of which words are said, the rule that words do not matter, but a way of saying matters is not. It can't actually be applied to certain cases. For example, this one.
Yes.
Well, I'm glad we came to common conclusion about this subject. Yeah. So
Stone, can we just leave this up to vote? Because I don't want to. I'm not conceding on this.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys are good to go, we can put it to a voting poll. Do you each just want to give your closing statements?
Yeah, I can go give my. Wait, username. Do you want to give your closing statement first? Should I go first?
it's how do you want?
I guess I'll go first.
Of course.
My closing statement would be that although in the vast majority of social conversations or social instances and encounters, tone is going to be more important than words, and words won't matter nearly as much because a person's feelings matter a lot more than a lot in any engagement you talk to a person's feelings matter a lot. There are some cases where things are more subjective, and so feelings can't play nearly as big a part, making words somewhat more important or just as important.
Yeah. So I think that the statement "it does not matter what you say but how you say it" is not true, but the statement that it does matter what you say and it also does matter how you say it would be a better statement and a factual one. But I think that this first statement is completely untrue, and it's contradict to empirical evidence and to reality completely, because we have cases and experiences from real life that actually prove us that what we say absolutely matters, and that we cannot say just anything and think that it it will have same impact if we said something that is actually allowable or good.